When you think about Kenya, what comes to mind? Maybe safaris, lions, or the Great Rift Valley. But behind the beautiful landscapes are people with stories, traditions, and histories that stretch back hundreds of years. Today, we're diving into two of the most fascinating tribes of Kenya, the world-famous Maasai and the history-making Kikuyu. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see Kenya in a whole new light. Let's start with the Maasai. If you've ever seen photos of tall warriors draped in bright red robes, jumping high in the air, that's them. The Maasai are a semi-nomadic tribe found in Kenya and northern Tanzania. They migrated hundreds of years ago from the Nile Valley, bringing with them cattle herding traditions that remain central to their lives today. For the Maasai, cattle are everything. Wealth, status, even marriage negotiations all revolve around cows. Spiritually, they believe in a single god called Nkai, who gave them all the cattle on earth. That's why protecting and caring for their herds is not just economic, it's spiritual. What really captures global attention is their culture. The iconic shuka, their red cloak, their detailed beadwork, and of course, the famous jumping dance known as a dumu. Young men leap into the air to prove their strength, endurance, and even attract brides. But life for the Maasai is changing. They've had to adapt to modern pressures, losing grazing lands, dealing with drought, and balancing education with tradition. Yet, despite all this, the Maasai have held onto their identity, making them one of the most recognized tribes in the world. Now, let's switch to another powerful story, the Kikuyu. While the Maasai are known worldwide for their warrior traditions, the Kikuyu are Kenya's largest tribe, making up about 22% of the country's population. According to Kikuyu legend, the tribe began with Gikuyu and Mumbi, the first man and woman, who had 9 daughters. From these daughters came the 9 clans of the Kikuyu. This origin story is still an important part of their identity. Historically, the Kikuyu settled in the fertile central highlands of Kenya, perfect for farming. They became skilled agriculturalists, growing crops like bananas, yams, tea, and coffee. Even today, they're seen as a business-minded and entrepreneurial community. But perhaps their most striking story is political. The Kikuyu played a huge role in Kenya's fight for independence from the British. Many of the leaders of the Mau Mau uprising, a rebellion in the 1950s, were Kikuyu. This resistance eventually led to Kenya gaining independence in 1963. Modern Kenya has been deeply shaped by the Kikuyu, from its politics to its economy. Many of the country's presidents, including Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of Kenya, have come from this community. So, while the Maasai capture global imagination, the Kikuyu represent Kenya's heart of political struggle and economic power. Long ago, the Maasai say there was only one god, Nkai. Nkai loved the Maasai people and gave them a special gift cattle. But here's the twist. Nkai lowered all the cows on earth from the sky, right into the hands of the Maasai. This is why the Maasai believe that all cattle on earth belong to them. Even if another tribe or nation owns cows, they see it as a kind of loan, because Nkai originally gave them to the Maasai. This tale explains why cattle are sacred, not just for food, but as the very link between humans and the divine. It also explains the deep bond the Maasai have with their herds, even today. The Kikuyu trace their origins to the first man and woman, Gikuyu and Mumbi. According to legend, God, known as Nai, placed them at the foot of Mount Kenya, the mountain the Kikuyu consider sacred. One day, Nai took Gikuyu to the top of the mountain and showed him the fertile land stretching out in all directions. Nai told him, "This land is yours, to build your home, to farm, and to raise your children." Gikuyu married Mumbai, and together they had 9 daughters. These daughters later became the founders of the 9 clans of the Kikuyu. This tale is more than just a creation myth. It explains why the Kikuyu revere Mount Kenya and the sacred fig tree, Magumo tree. Even today, the fig tree is seen as a place of prayer and connection to God. These tales remind us that culture isn't just about traditions or clothing. It's about the stories people tell to explain who they are and where they come from. For the Maasai, the story of Nkai gifting them cattle explains why cows are more than wealth, they're sacred. For the Kikuyu, the tale of Gikuyu and Mumbai shows why Mount Kenya and the sacred fig tree are at the heart of their identity. Both tribes carry with them a deep sense of connection to God, to the land, and to their people. And that's what makes them so fascinating. So, whether it's cattle descending from the sky or a sacred mountain watching over a people, these stories remind us that every culture has its own way of explaining life's mysteries. Which of these two tales spoke to you? the most the Maasai's gift of cattle, or the Kikuyu story of Gikuyu and Mumbi? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd love to hear more myths and stories from Africa's many tribes, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.